right. Oh, Bidole, it has begun. It has begun. Hey, everybody, all two of y'all. How you guys doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today we are going to be talking about the idea of parents and spirituality. Specifically, the idea of having a relationship with your ancestors as opposed to having a relationship with your parents, just given the circumstances of life and so on and so forth. So I want to hear what you guys have to think. Whenever I do these ones that are kind of more perspective based, I am not of the mind that you guys have to just listen to what I have to say. I want to see a discussion. I want to hear different points of view, that kind of thing. So don't be afraid to speak in this one, unless the chat is off like it was on the last one. I don't know what that was about. If somebody wants to type a comment so I can see if the chat is still off. There's two of y'all. If somebody wants to type a comment, okay, I think the chat's off. What is this? Let me see if I can fix it. So we're going to go ahead and begin when we get 15 people in here, and that will give me time to fix the issue with the chat. I don't know why the chat is doing that. Public education restrictions, none. No, this is not for kids. Nope. Automatically. It's so weird. Why is my chat off? We're going to begin when we got 15 people in here. That'll give me time to figure out why the chat is always off. I don't want to hold inappropriate. Allow all comments. Allow all comments. Let's see here. And nothing. All right. So I'm going to Google and see how we can get the comments back. I don't know why it's doing this or why the chat is off for me. And I think it should be on for you guys, but I can't see it, which is crazy because that's the whole thing. I'm trying to talk to people. We're going to begin when we're at 15. I'm trying to figure out why the comments are off for me, but they're on for y'all. I'll Google it. Give me just a second. You guys are so entertaining. Let's see. Why can't I see comments in my YouTube live? Okay. I don't see comments. As long as your video is public, when you stream it, you have live chat enabled on your channel. Live comments will show up, blah, 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 blah. Why don't I see comments on my YouTube live? Okay, try checking the comments in incognito mode. Disregards all your plugins, extensions, sites. That's weird. Okay, let me try going here on incognito mode, which is weird. YouTube is... Udo, everybody. Hey guys, welcome. So today's discussion is going to be on parents. We're just going to talk about parents in general, but the main thing is the idea of bypassing parents to get to ancestors. Somebody had made a comment on the topic, and then I had comments on it, and I had to delete my comments because the remaining comments were kind of like anti everything we're kind of talking about anyway. So I was like, okay, I don't know what kind of space I'm accidentally stepping into, so let me just disassociate until I figure out what's going on. I try not to comment too much online for that reason. Let me figure out we are at 15. He said, all right, y'all didn't give me enough time to figure this thing out. So what I'm going to do is watch my own stream on incognito and see if that allows me typing incognito. All right, hold on. Oh boy. All right. Hey guys, we are at 15. We're at 15. Once I start seeing the what you guys are commenting, I'll go ahead and begin. But until then, I'm frustrated. I don't know why it's doing this to me. Okay. There. He said, make yourselves comfortable, guys. Let's not hope nobody is bored watching me. Oh, damn it. Let me verify my phone. Man. Okay, fine. I'll verify on my phone. No problem. This is insane. Okay, yes, this is me. Okay. I got Okay, it's still on. And I cannot see comments on incognito mode. I don't even know if people can comment. Oh, that's unfortunate. I wanted to see y'all's comments. Why would I be limited? That's weird. Okay, I'm still fixing this thing. I'm gonna give myself 2 more minutes to figure it out. Otherwise, I'm just gonna go. So let's go ahead and start the countdown. All right. So here, connection is excellent. I really doubt that. Um, Weird. Captions, 30 seconds. Analytics, viewer activity. I think I got 1 more minute to figure it out. No data, no data. Analytics. I'm trying to get the comments on. I cannot see y'all's comments. It's not even the right one. Now what? Just a second. Weird. Weird. Okay. All right. I'm out of time, so I'm gonna go ahead and just begin. I can't see y'all's comments. I apologize. So what I'm going to do is I can't even comment. Oh, this thing's so ridiculous. All right, whatever. So let me go ahead and begin. All right. Everybody in here, thank you very much for your patience while I figured out what was going on. If anybody has answers and you know my email address, send an email. Let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to go ahead and kick off. No comments. This one's going to be kind of short because I want to spend most of the time talking to you guys. So, okikekerua. I jubi on my naked lingy. Alawala. Ala nne mmadụ na nne mmụọ. Ala kere ndị ichie ma ọ wụ ndị mbụ na ndị egede. Anyị ji obiọma na-ekelekwa gị. Nnọọ ka nna ụfụrụ anyị, nnọọ ka anyị nwere obiọma, uche anyị dị ọcha, aka anyị dị ọcha. Ije anyị na-aga bụ ije Chineke kere ka anyị gaa n'ụwa a. Na anyị ga-eji ike ndị ichie anyị na-aga ya. Ọ ga-adị nnọọ na eke, na orie, na afọ, na nkwọ. Ise. All right. So I wanted to be able to do these lives regularly, like every Friday or so. But things like this kind of piss me off and get me off the mood. But what I more or less said as far as the OG breaking, I don't have OG because I'm in a part of the country that's OG-less, though I did order some on Amazon, so I'll be getting some. I acknowledge the creator. So I said, Okike Keruwa, creator that created the universe. I Bioma, so we're using a good heart to greet you. I said the same to the earth. I said, I referred to her as the mother of our ancestors, Ndimbu and Diegede. These are the two classes of ancestors, the two classes of first peoples that our ancestors identify as the first people. Ndimbu being the first people. These are people that lived before death. They were light beings able to move from Obichukwu to Wamada with relative ease. And then Ndiegede, our ancestors that came after death and gave us what we now call human culture, human civilization, the tools by which to live in our newfound home, which is Uwamado, the manifest terrestrial world. I gave acknowledgments to them. I gave acknowledgments to the 4 market days. And then I then said that we are moving with purity of heart, or goodness of heart, purity of mind, purity of hands. We have not put our hands in evil, or we have not used our hands to commit what is wrong. and then that we are using these gifts to walk on the road paved for us by the creator and creation, or Chineke. So today I'm going to be discussing the kind of popular idea. I wanted to see you guys' comments. This is ridiculous. The kind of popular idea of bypassing parents to get to ancestors, right? So oftentimes, um, I see it often where people, be it you have a bad relationship with your parents or a parent, no relationship with your parents or a parent, um, or their way of life does not match your own. So it somehow feels nonsensical or silly, or like a mismatch, incorporating them into your spiritual practices, right? Or incorporating them into the lifestyle you're making. It becomes this individual thing, right? And 9 out of 10 times, the parents are the ones that back their children into this corner where parents, have to be excluded from what's how the young person is experiencing the world, right? Or how they're growing into themselves, which is very unfortunate, right? Extremely unfortunate. So you see this very often. Um, but one of the things we always talk about in our group study, right? Or not, we don't always, but we've mentioned it a few times in our group study, is the idea that you are acknowledging your ancestors because they are part of you. There is no you without them, right? There is no you without them. One of the best arguments I saw for why our ancestors acknowledge ancestors and put ancestors where they were is, I can't remember who it was. I want to say he was um, uh, uh, a wise man from Burkina Faso, but I don't think it was Maladoma. Maladoma, yeah, Maladoma or Maladome. I can't remember how to say his name. But what he had said was that God, right, with all of God's infinite power and infinite potential and infinite capacity, created you as a person, but still had to use your ancestors to get to that point, right? So still had to use your ancestors to get to that point, right? God did not just say poof and you showed up. You're a sequence of events, right? That may look like chaotic circumstances, so on and so forth, happened, and next thing happened, and next thing happened, next thing happened, and it all reached you, and it was all possible because of your ancestors, right? So that if God needs to contact your ancestors to get to you need to contact your ancestors to get to God, right? That is the road. As you are an extension of creation, right? That branch list of ancestors that then reach you. And in order for you to know your bigger self, that Aka we were speaking about prior, right? Your full self, to be understand your full self, it is impossible without understanding your full historic self, and even yourself in the future, right? Even yourself, consider that too, yourself in the future, which I'll probably talk about on a different live or maybe even a video, right? So you run into this situation where that is why ancestors are held in that position, right? And then all of a sudden, that then, puts your parents in the exact same as your ancestors, all right? It was a given that I was going to get there, right? It was a given, you know, that I was created by something that maybe say I respect or I see as the most high. And that most high still needed my parents to get the job done, right? To make me happen as a person and whatever would come from me, so on and so forth, right? That type of thing. So one of the things in Odinani Ndibo is that, when people from the outside and even people from the inside now, because they've kind of adopted the language of the observer, when people from the outside look at what's happening, you get this. You always hear this language of, okay, they're worshiping the river, they're worshiping the land, they're worshiping this tree, all this different. Everything's worship, 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 right? And I think it's probably like an Abrahamic worldview, just kind of being imposed on different things and things like that. What you are actually seeing, or what makes more sense in the explanation of what you're seeing, is acknowledgement. You're acknowledging, right? So that if there is this river that provides you with water, you thank that river for providing you with water. If there's a river that provides you with a place to bathe, or just whatever a river can give. I don't need to explain what a river gives. You thank it for giving you that thing. The same way I would thank you for handing me a cup of water, right? I would acknowledge that great thing, that good thing you did for me, how you gave me life. In giving me water, you give me life. I thank you, right? So why wouldn't I thank that river, right? Is it that I need that river to thank me back? Then I'm not really thanking. I'm just kind of serving myself, right? I always found it funny when I don't know why I discussed. I was talking to somebody about this, but the idea that you thank somebody for something and then you wait for them to thank you for thanking them, and that actually becomes the more important part, because if you thank that person for something and they don't say you're welcome, or they don't basically thank you for thanking them, then you get angry, right? You made this whole thing about yourself again. But there's this ilu that says, um, thank or greet the blind and deaf man when you see him, right? Gleam, greet the blind and deaf man when you see him. If he cannot hear you, the earth hears you. If the earth does not hear you, the sky hears you. Something along those lines, right? And more or less, that's what it's saying, is that you don't do these things. You don't greet. You don't project gratitude for the sake of having it immediately given back to you. It's not about you. Somebody does something good for you, you say thank you to them. They don't say thank you to you. You said thank you to them. That's the important part. Become rewarded by that aspect. Become rewarded by giving the gratitude rather than throwing it and receiving it back like a boomerang. Oh, thank you for thanking me. I appreciate you for appreciating me. That's ridiculous, right? That kind of thing. So, in my opinion, so you run into the situation with the river, right? This river is giving me life. Thank you for that. Because if I were to give any of you guys life, and you thanked me, it wouldn't be abnormal, right? Maybe if you were thanking me, just to wait and hear me thank you back, like, oh, you better say you're welcome. That kind of thing. It's a little weird, right? It's normal because of culture, but like when you step outside of that culture box and look at what's going on, it's a little strange, right? That kind of thing, you know. So you acknowledge the things that deserve acknowledgement, right? The sky plays a role in my survival, my existence, and everything. I thank the sky for that. Like when I'm saying, "Okikekeroa, alawala, ndi chai," each of the market days, all of these different things. I thank the day, I thank the sun, I thank the earth, I thank my ancestors. And oh, I'm sorry, I was rude. Every time I get a chance, I thank my parents, right? And it doesn't matter what they're returning to me. It doesn't matter. That's not the point, right? If I eat something and I enjoy it, my parents creating me was the first step in me enjoying that thing. There's no gift I'll receive in this world. There's nothing good that'll happen to me in this world that did not begin with my parents choosing to allow me to come into the world, right? Choosing to allow me to come into this world, making that choice. And then in doing that, I turn around and I'm thanking them, I'm grateful, and so forth. So when we are calling ancestors, we're doing all these things. If you want to call it worship, that's on you. That's fine. If you want to call, when you acknowledge the creator, if you want to call it worship, that's on you. That's fine. If you want to, you're acknowledging the earth, or you're acknowledging the days. Again, if you want to do that, that's fine. But at the end of the day, it is about greetings and acknowledgement. Greetings and acknowledgement. You're greeting the things that are essential in your world. You're greeting the things that deserve greeting. You're greeting all the things that are present, everything that is present, right? Every single thing that's present. That's why I say Eke, Uri, Afo, and Unko, because I've said this a few times before, but these are the 4 days in the Igbo calendar. And each of the days that you as a person are born, right, is one of your names. If you were born on Eke, you are Eke. You are Nweke. You are Mbeke. There's all the different ways to put it, but that's one of your names. If you're born on Uri, you are Nwuri. Adoria. There's different names for it, right? Afo, the third day, same thing. Wafo, all these different things. Nkwo, Nwankwo, all these different things. All those, the 4 days, the 4 market days. Each of the days you were born is one of your names. That is one of your names, right? Same applies to our ancestors. So when I say those things, I can't sit here and list my own ancestor. I mean, I can if I wanted to, right? But sometimes I choose not to list my ancestors. But I can say those days, and I can include all that includes all my ancestors that I can't name. even the ones I can name, so long as they were born on one of the 4 days, which they were, as well as your ancestors as well, that you were present. Because when you were present, they are present. So I'm going to greet them as well, right? In the culture, when you enter a room, you greet everybody in the room. You give everybody their acknowledgements, and before you proceed in doing whatever you're going to do, this is something you're going to see fairly universal in coastal West Africa, right, and beyond. But I'll just speak on that zone. And you greet everybody in the room, and then you proceed with what you're going to do. So it is the exact same thing with the earth, the ancestors, the sun, so on and so forth, right? When you get your first son, when you get your morning son, it's customary to give the son your hands like that, and give him the son your palms and greet her, that kind of thing, you know, because again, gratitude. I'm getting this sunlight from you. I'm getting life from you. I exist because of you. I am an extension of you. 93 million miles away. I'm the part of your body that sits 93 million miles away, and walks around and talks and goes on YouTube and says stuff and that kind of thing. So I thank you for existing, because if you shut off, I shut off. That type of thing, right? So acknowledgement, and these acknowledgements are the first step in oneness, right? So then you get to the situation where a lot of people want to, like, the parent part, it becomes awkward for a lot of people. Why? I hear a lot, people's parents are Christian, they don't approve of XYZ. You hear a lot of, no, I don't like this, maybe consistently the dad. I don't, consistently the dad. I don't like my dad. My dad is this, my dad is. It says my connection's unstable, so if I'm gonna keep talking. I'm so tired of this thing. I'm gonna keep talking. If y'all can't hear me, it's whatever. I'm gonna open my email in case somebody wants to be generous and send me an email. Let me know what's going on. But yeah, so, but again, it said my connection was unstable, so I don't know if I'm still on and all that. But yeah, so what was I saying prior? What was I saying? Oh yeah, I'm gonna say something that's not whatever. Um, your parents are a very literal part of you, right? They're a very literal part of you. And one of the things, this is deduction from my own practice, this is deduction from my own studies, and so on and so forth, right? There's an ilu that says, um, it more or less says that a father is the chi of his household, right? A father is the chi of his household, the thing. And there's, of course, a lot of the, okay, I don't talk to my dad, relationship, that kind of thing, so on and so forth. I am strongly of the opinion, right, that in order to reach or attain, to build that relationship with your chi, your father is on that road, right? So you're moving towards your chi. On that road, your father is sitting there, right? And if you swerve that man, right, you're off the road. You're not going to get there. In your connection to your mother, to Eke, the creator, your creation. My apologies, but yeah, also the creator. Your mother is on that road. If you swerve that woman, you're not going to get there. Be it they are Christian, be it they don't agree, you don't agree with them, be it they're not ideal, right? They're not ideal. I think one thing we can do is try to, like, get rid of this idea that things have to be ideal before we, perfection, can accept them, right? Or things have to serve us in the way we wish to be served before we can accept them, right? Or before we can now say, okay, the relationship begins, right? That type of thing. That relationships have to be good. The relationships have to be good. So we're like, oh, so keep talks relationship. But you'll figure it out, right? You're an adult. But relationships don't have to be good. Relationships just are. They just are. They don't have to be good. You understand, right? But in accepting those parts of you, father and mother, you can then actually begin the real process of regular women. you know, you you can't. The chain of events doesn't play out that way. You don't bypass ask your parents and or your parents some years from now and children and they want to talk to their ancestor, right? And they don't want to talk to my son or they've bypassed my son to get to me. I will direct them back to my son. I will direct them back to my son, you know. Another thing that people have to also think about is, like you want to talk about your parents being toxic, these guys had some toxic ass ancestors that created yeah, some toxic ass ancestors that made it that way too, right? But maybe you need to understand and accept that because that's you too. And you issue, something like that. Less than ideal relationship. And even myself, I had to learn to let things go because I learned that they were coming from a childish place in my own existence. A lot of judgments I had about my parents, things like that. And it stems from, in my case, thinking that these people are superhuman, right? And then thinking these people are superhuman, when they show humanity, I get angry, right? Or I show when they're like, "Oh, you're superhuman. Why don't you do that?" If a child hears that somebody killed their father and goes to avenge the murder, the child, one of the ways that I interpret it is the stance that made, if you were put through the exact same variables, you're going to also come out that way. So you actually do need to understand this person, or under, even if it's the thing that the result of whoever that person or whatever that person's existence is affected you, a low feeling about yourself. It is there's no two ways about it. There's no, that's an imbalanced thought. So keep saying my connection is unstable. Again, I'm probably talking to myself, which is fine at this point. Love your live stream. Oh, thanks. Phil sent me an email.